Last Halloween, I asked you guys on Twitter if you'd want to hear about things that freaked me out as a kid, and surprisingly, a lot of you did. So instead of me scaring you this Halloween, I'm going to talk about 6 things that scared me. None of these scare me anymore, by the way, obviously, for the most part. Why 6? Because, I don't know, I just felt like it. Anyway, let's get to it. The first entry on my list was actually a mystery to me for the longest time, as I had no clue where it came from, or if it was even real to begin with. And looking back, I'm pretty sure it was the mystery surrounding it that scared me more than the show actually did. Basically, when I was little, me and my family went to San Antonio to go to SeaWorld. While we were at our hotel, I was watching TV when a certain show came on that really freaked me out. I then promptly forgot about it for like 10 years. The only thing I remembered about it was that it had something to do with cabbages. My curiosity led me to Reddit, where I asked a few different subreddits if they knew what I was talking about. About a day later, I finally got my answer.
Cheers! It's the tales of our pal Piggly. Ireland is the world he loves so well. It wriggles out of spots that are downright sickly.
Okay, let me explain. So this show is called Jakers, The Adventures of Piggly-Winks, and to be honest, I have no memory of watching this show besides this one time. The episode I watched was titled The Creepy Cabbages of Calway, and it revolves around our main character, Piggly-Winks, staying up too late and hearing a radio show his parents told him he couldn't listen to.
And now, put the kiddies to bed and hug someone tight. It's time for Creepy Theater.
Checkers.
The radio show is about cabbages that invade Earth and take over the world.
What's that?
In the cabbage field.
It's alive!
Piggly ends up having a really weird, surreal nightmare where everything around him slowly starts turning into cabbages. He even has to watch his best friend slowly transform into a cabbage creature right in front of him. Piggly's dream gets more and more surreal as more cabbage creatures surround him and dance over a kick-ass beat.
Yo! Ah!
Piggly then wakes up, and that's basically the end of the episode. After watching it, I can 100% confirm this is what I saw, and obviously it isn't that scary. It was probably the weird unknown childhood nostalgia that freaked me out more than the show actually did, which is why it's at the bottom of the list. With that, let's move on to the next one. Also, apparently the main character has the same voice actress as Naruto. What the fuck? This one's gonna be short because it's literally like a 10-second long video. I was introduced to YouTube at an age way earlier than I probably should have. And when I was on there, I'd watch videos about fish, because they were, and still are, my favorite animal. After watching about every fish video on YouTube at the time, this was like 2008, 2009 mind you, I stumbled across a video titled, Large Mysterious Fish Eats a Duck, which I'll play now.
Singing in the dead of night.
Now, I'm stopping the clip here, because there's a jump scare. But if you want to know what happens, basically some dude in a zombie costume screams and runs at the camera really quick. And this freaked me out so badly that I leaned backwards in my chair too far and fell out and hit my head on the floor. Yeah, okay. On to the next one. When I was younger, I'd occasionally sleep with my TV on due to, surprisingly, something that'll appear later on the list. And the only kids channel that wasn't for babies and that didn't air adult-themed shows at night was the Disney Channel. For some reason, they'd air their older programming in the middle of the night, like Wizards of Waverly Place, The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, and what's taking the number 5 spot on this list, The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody on deck. More specifically, the episode Twister. Twister was a 3-part episode, but it was only the first part that scared me. The plot goes like this. Bailey wants to go to Kansas to celebrate her grandma's 90th birthday, but she can't afford a plane ticket. London offers to fly her in her personal blimp, but the blimp crashes and they have to drive the rest of the way on what seems like a never-ending straight line going through a cornfield. It soon turns to night, and Bailey tells London the story of the Corn Goblin.
You better not let the Corn Goblin hear you say that.
the corn goblin? Mm-hmm. Legend has it, he roams the countryside, reaping revenge on those who hate corn. I don't believe that for a second. Okay, relax. It's just the wind. Oh, that...
As it turns out, this was just a prank Bailey set up to scare London for being mean to her. All goes well, and they get back in the car. Oh my god, there's literally no reason for this to be here. Like, what the hell? Why? This was definitely one of the first legitimate jump scares I remember seeing in my life besides the fish video, and it definitely left an impact on me. With that being said, let's get on to the next one. Moving to a different network but sticking with the theme of mediocre children's sitcoms, we have Victorious on Nickelodeon. I was never a huge fan of this show, but I'd stick around to watch it whenever it happened to be on TV. The episode that particularly freaks me out is titled Prom Wrecker, and it's especially about Tori hosting a prom.
We're calling it a prom?
Sorry, a prom at the same time Jade is hosting a show called Clowns Don't Bounce.
What's it about?
A clown and a parachute that doesn't open.
Jade is very upset about this and swears revenge on Tori, who doesn't really listen. More Dan Schneider antics ensue, and the prom goes on as scheduled. Tori tells the crowd to vote for prom king and queen, when suddenly the power goes out and the screen gets hijacked. Then, this plays.
Just relax until
What is this? What is the point of this? It appears for like 1 minute and then goes away, and it's never brought up again.
Hey, Simpson found the projector and killed the crazy video.
Good.
This scared the absolute hell out of me the first time I saw it, and surprisingly I've never really seen anyone talk about this one, which is weird considering how big Victorious was of a show. Nevertheless, this scene certainly gave me a scare, and with that being said, let's get on to the next one. This one isn't necessarily scary, but it definitely left an impression on me when I was super little. This one comes from, get ready, Alvin and the Chipmunks, The Chipmunk Adventure. Sounds dumb, right? The Chipmunk Adventure revolves around the chipmunks and the chipettes having a race around the world in hot air balloons to collect the most chipmunk dolls. During this, the chipettes find themselves in Egypt, where Brittany gets trapped in an arranged marriage with a prince, who gifts her with a baby penguin. Brittany and the other girls escape from Egypt and get back onto their balloon, only to find out that the baby penguin came with them as well and was hiding in their cooler.
A penguin? You are going to eat this penguin?
The girls realize that they need to get this penguin back to Antarctica as soon as possible, as it slowly gets more and more sick due to the blazing Egyptian heat. This leads to quite possibly one of the saddest songs I've ever heard in an animated film.
It's hard to remember summer or winter when she hasn't been there for me. A friend and companion, I can always depend on. My mother, that's who I mean.
This song absolutely destroyed me when I was little. It especially doesn't help that halfway through, the baby has a flashback of its mom swaddling it and they're making cute little noises and what? Thought of slowly dying, not knowing if I'd see my mom again, really screwed with me, and it definitely left an impression on me as well. I remember crying several times during school just because even thinking of this scene made me incredibly upset. It's definitely up there with the things that freaked me out the most as a kid, but it's not the thing that freaked me out the most. There's one more, something more primordial, but I can't even describe why it freaked me out. With that being said, let's move on to number 1. What's the first thing you remember? Think back, way back to when you were a tiny little kid. It's probably hard to think of, right? Well, one of the first things I remember, and I'm sure some of you out there do too, is this. This guy look familiar? This is where Puppet came from. This is Baby Einstein, a critically acclaimed and infamous developmental video series created for babies to supposedly make them smarter. I'll be totally honest with you guys, I still watch this sometimes, and I'll usually throw it on in the background when I'm animating or working on videos. But not everything about this show is bright and colorful. There are certain parts that really freaked me out as a kid, including this scene, where it's just still shots of dolls while a rendition of Twinkle Twinkle Little Star plays in the background. This obviously isn't scary now, unless you have a fear of dolls, but picture yourself as an infant, barely being able to comprehend what you're seeing, and you see this thing stare back at you, trapped in a black void, not moving. I don't know what you guys think, but it certainly scared me. Another thing from this show that really freaked me out, which I have an even harder time coming up with the reason for, is this cow puppet. Specifically this scene where he pops out of the corner of the screen like this. I honestly don't know why this one freaked me out so much, but I distinctly remember having a nightmare about this cow puppet popping around corners like this. I wasn't the only one who was freaked out by this show either. Look up the Dragon Puppet Show and you'll see hundreds of comments talking about how much this thing freaked them out when they were young. There's something really primal about why certain scenes in this show are so scary. I can't exactly put my finger on it, but if I had to guess, I'd say it definitely has to do with a lot of the backgrounds being pitch black, which definitely didn't get me used to the dark as a kid either. However, this doesn't at all ruin my nostalgia for the show. It's one of the first things I remember ever seeing in my life, and it definitely helped me become who I am today. And for that, I am forever grateful. Thank you, Baby Einstein. Happy Halloween, everybody. I hope you all enjoyed this video. I know it's a bit different than the stuff I usually make, but this video is something I've been wanting to make for a while now, and I hope you guys like it. If you want to see more videos like this, feel free to let me know. I had a lot of fun making this one, and I'll be down to make more videos like this in the future. That's all for now. Expedition Explosion Episode 1 is coming soon, and I hope you guys have a fun and safe Halloween. I'll see you guys next time.